Welcome to tonight's food fight. Red says you should be a vegetarian. Green says eating meat is just fine. Green starts out ahead, so Red has some catching up to do. Let's see whose case gets overcooked.
Meat shows up with the whole package. Complete protein, iron your body actually grabs, and B12 that no lettuce on earth will ever hand you. Drop it and half of vegans slide into a B12 shortage. Some walk away with real nerve damage. We were built as omnivores, teeth and all. Every long-lived culture in history put animal food on the plate. Biology already voted, and it did not vote for the salad bar.
Cute biology lectures, thanks for that. My case stands on 3 legs, and any one of them holds the whole weight. Health, processed meat is a proven cancer risk. Environment, livestock coughs up over half of food emissions while handing back less than a fifth of the calories. Welfare, nearly every farm animal spends its whole life in a factory. Pick a leg, any leg, they all hold.
2 of those legs are about how the meat is raised, not the meat itself. So, really, it is a one-legged stool. And sit with that B12 pill for a second. If your plant diet only works once you bolt on a lifetime supplement, how complete was it to begin with? Some folks can't even turn plant fats into what their body actually needs.
A $10 a year pill slams that B12 gap shut completely. Now hand me the pill that reverses cancer, or the one that undoes diabetes. There isn't one, and you know it. A tiny supplement beats an unfixable disease every single day of the week.
We grew a smaller gut precisely because meat was busy feeding our oversized brains. That trade is baked right into the wiring. And your Adventist study, let's be honest, it follows healthy people who also skip the cigarettes and the booze. There's a whole squeaky clean lifestyle talking, not the missing steak.
Then explain this one. The heaviest red meat eaters carried 62% more diabetes risk. Swap a single daily serving for nuts, and that risk drops. And it held firm across 20 countries with wildly different habits. That is not one tidy Adventist crowd. That is the whole planet raising its hand and saying the same thing.
The processed meat and diabetes numbers, those are real. And I'm not going to stand here and pretend otherwise. But my claim was never eat unlimited bacon at every meal. Done right, meat fits a healthy life just fine. I'm defending grass-fed beef from a real farm, not the sad grey stuff sweating under the supermarket lights.
A quarter of the way in, and Red has pulled ahead. Quick word on confounding. That's when 2 things travel together, so you can't tell which one did the cooking. Heavy meat eaters often smoke more and move less. So Red leaned on a 20-country study because a link that shows up everywhere is hard to pin on one crowd's habits.
That well-sourced dream farm of yours barely exists outside a postcard. Pasture beef is under 5% of what people actually toss in the cart. Most humane labels are just marketing with nobody bothering to check. And the one law meant to protect animals at slaughter shrugs and skips poultry, which is nearly every animal we kill.
I'm not backing up, I'm getting specific. The trouble is how the animals are raised. Good grazing turns grass we could never chew into actual food. Blaming all meat for the worst farms is like shutting down every restaurant in town because one of them handed you food poisoning once.
But that math quietly ignores land. Grass-fed needs about 2.5 times more of it per pound. Scale that up to everyone and you just shove the clearing somewhere over the horizon. Your fix doesn't spare the forest, it just relocates the chainsaw.
Then look at people, not just acres. About a third of them can't turn plant fats into dal worth a nickel. And dal is the omega-3 your brain and eyes actually run on. Up to 45% handle plant vitamin A poorly too. These aren't rare oddballs in a lab. That's a big slice of any room you walk into, and just eat plants and take a pill doesn't run clean for them.
Sure, some folks need a tailored diet. But where do you think the fish got their dye in the first place? Algae. You can grab it straight from the original supplier. No fish, no meat in the middle. And that giant 20-country study carries none of that clean lifestyle baggage, yet it lands in the very same spot.
A major review graded this whole scary harm case as low certainty. Cutting 3 servings a week prevents only about 8 or 9 deaths per 1,000, spread across 11 whole years. Your big frightening percentages are hiding a tiny little effect out in the real world.
That review fell apart the moment it hit the water. Harvard's Walter Willett called it a travesty of science. Frank Hugh and Edward Giovannucci called it problematic and inappropriate. And its own lead author was quietly taking industry money he never disclosed. You reached for a lifeline, and it turns out the lifeline is sinking faster than you are.
Fair hit. I'll stop leaning on that author. He's dead weight now. But even his critics never claimed the effect was big, only that the advice got spun. That small real number is still standing. And out in the real world, half to most vegetarians are still running low on B12.
Halfway home. Red is out front, but Green just found his footing again. Red says the harm is real and cheap to dodge. Green says it's small and the fixes flop in real life. Nobody's gotten fried yet, folks. still alive fight.
The main dietitian body already settled this one. A well-planned vegetarian or vegan diet is healthy at every stage of life. Pregnancy, kids, athletes, the whole lineup. The only rule they tack on is take your B12. That is the entire list, one line long.
Well planned is doing some serious heavy lifting in that sentence. Alcohol is a top-tier cancer risk too, yet nobody stands up and shouts drink zero. They say keep it moderate. Why? Because it brings real value along with the risk. Meat is no different, so the honest answer here is moderation, not a ban.
Here's where my own data reaches over and pokes me in the ribs. In one big study, the fish eaters actually outlived the vegans. So strict total zero isn't clearly the champ. But look at what those fish eaters had already thrown overboard. Every last land animal. So cut that piece specifically.
So even your own best data can't draw a clean line between a little animal protein and none at all. Then we're looking at a whole range of good answers here. And funny thing, I've been standing right in the middle of that range this entire time, waving.
Not so fast, don't get comfortable. Compare the diet groups inside that same study population and the clean living is already held equal. So the gap that's left really is the meat. And it still points at cutting land animal meat the hardest. That diabetes link held across 20 countries. That's most of the plate, and that's exactly where the harm piles up.
But notice the hole in the logic. Not necessary is not the same as should avoid. Blueberries aren't required. Salmon isn't required. Lentils aren't required. And nobody is out there telling you to skip them. Should avoid needs real harm at every dose. You haven't put that on the table.
You bill me a floor, so thank you, I'll stand right on it. You said eat only the smallest amount you truly need. For a typical person, every last nutrient is covered without a scrap of meat. You don't need it, it does real harm, and there's a free swap sitting right there. Add those three up, and for a normal person the answer lands on 0.
And this typical person of yours? You can't even point them out in a crowd without running a genetic test first. My stopping point isn't wiping meat off the earth, it's whatever modest, well-raised meat a person genuinely gains from. You've proven less beats more, congratulations. Now where's your proof that cutting it all the way to 0 beats keeping a little?
3/4 in and red is ahead and still climbing. It all boils down to one last step now, from less meat to no meat. Green is guarding the moderate middle. Red says the harm pushes right past it.
My 3 legs don't all land on chicken the same way, they split up. The environment barely blinks at chicken, but welfare lands on it like a ton of bricks. Chickens are nearly every animal we kill, crammed into the worst cages going, and the slaughter law skips right over them. So keep fish and poultry, cut red meat. That plan fails all 3 tests at once.
That's a real hit on chicken, and I'll admit I hadn't singled the bird out, but it lands on factory poultry, which has been my target from the start, not the chicken itself. And your side has a real-world problem too, by the way. Plant-based meat sales have been sliding for years.
And that lovely farm you keep painting for me? Humane slow-growth chicken is near 0% of the market, and that's after years of solemn pledges. Cage-free is still under half the flock. Your grass-fed dream isn't a shelf anyone can actually reach. It's a brochure.
Alright. On the plant fat and vitamin A gaps I fold, plainly, algae oil covers the DAR, eggs and dairy cover the vitamin A, no matter how common the variant turns out to be. That closes 2 of my 4 variation points. Gone. I'll hold on to creatine and iron absorption, and that's it.
Creatine and iron absorption? Those are real. I'll hand you those 2. But for the general person, the dietitians already call a planned vegetarian diet fully adequate. And those fixes work no matter how common your variant is. Here's the part you cannot wave away. Your harm doesn't stay in your kitchen. The animal never signed off on any of it. The pollution drifts onto everyone downwind. That is not a private little choice you get to keep to yourself.
Harm to others doesn't automatically slam the dial to 0. Driving kills strangers every single day, and our answer is rules and safety laws, not hauling every car to the scrapyard. To the exact same thing here. Clean up welfare with better sourcing. Cut emissions with regulation and lower demand. That's how you handle a harm like this.
Rules can shrink the pollution down to almost nothing, sure. But show me the rule that shrinks away the killing itself. The animal is still raised and still killed, no matter how spotless you scrub the barn. Leading ethicists say that death itself is the harm, and a full nutrition swap is already sitting right there on the shelf, so the honest floor is none.
And that's the bell. Green cooked up a clean, honest case for moderation and never got embarrassed. But Red carried all 3 legs right to the edge and over it. Final score, 79 to 62. Red takes it, you should be a vegetarian. Well done, both of you.